What if the version of you that you're desperately trying to become already exists? Not in some distant future, not after you fix yourself, not after you finally feel confident, disciplined, or ready. Right now, most people don't fail because they lack potential. They fail because they're waiting to become someone they already are. And if that sounds uncomfortable, good, because the truth is rarely comforting at first. Think about how often you tell yourself, one day I'll be confident. One day I'll speak up. One day I'll be disciplined. One day I'll finally feel like myself. But notice this, that one day never comes. Not because you're broken, not because you're lazy, but because you're approaching transformation the wrong way. We've been taught that growth is about becoming something new, a better version, an upgraded version, a fixed version. But what if growth isn't about becoming at all? What if it's about remembering? Look at your life for a moment. You consume content, you read books, you watch motivational videos, you save quotes, you plan habits. You imagine a future version of yourself who finally has it together. Yet despite all this effort, something still feels off. You know what you should do, but you don't do it consistently. You know who you want to be, but you don't live like them. And slowly, quietly, a dangerous belief forms. Maybe I'm just not that person. That belief is the real problem, because it convinces you that confidence, discipline, clarity, and self-respect are traits you must earn in the future, instead of expressions you can choose in the present. Here's the truth most people never hear. You don't become confident and then take confident action. You take confident action, and confidence follows. You don't become disciplined and then act disciplined. You act disciplined and discipline forms. You don't become your future self. You behave as them, and identity catches up. But your mind resists this idea, because if it's true, then waiting no longer makes sense, and responsibility becomes unavoidable. Most people are not stuck because they lack ability. They're stuck because they're loyal to an old identity, an identity formed by past failures, by criticism, by comparison, by moments when they felt small, ignored, or inadequate. So they keep rehearsing the same internal story. I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I need to heal first. I need to learn more. But ask yourself honestly, how much more preparation do you really need before preparation becomes avoidance? The mind loves preparation because it feels productive without requiring courage. Action, on the other hand, threatens the ego, because action exposes who you believe you are. Psychologically, this is where most people get trapped. Carl Jung once said that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Your unconscious identity, the one you rarely question, determines how you act. If deep down you see yourself as someone who struggles, someone who's inconsistent, someone who never quite follows through, then no amount of motivation will override that, because behavior always aligns with identity. But here's the key insight. Identity is not discovered. It is practiced. You are not waiting to become the person you admire. You are waiting to permit yourself to act as them. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't wait until they feel like a walker. They wobble. They fall. They try again. They act first. Identity comes later. Somewhere along the way, as adults, we reverse this process. We tell ourselves, I'll act when I feel ready. I'll show up when I'm confident. I'll try when I know I won't fail. But readiness is not a prerequisite for action. Action is what creates readiness. You already know this deep down. Think about a time in your life when you surprised yourself, when you acted despite fear, when you handled something you thought you couldn't. In those moments, did you suddenly become a different person, or did you simply act and realize you were capable all along? The version of you that you admire isn't a stranger. It's you, minus hesitation, minus excuses, minus the need for permission. The problem is not that you don't have the potential. The problem is that you're treating your future self like a reward instead of a decision. Let me say that again. You're treating your future self like a reward instead of a decision. You think confidence will come after success. But confidence comes from honoring your word to yourself. You think discipline will come after motivation. But discipline comes from acting without motivation. You think clarity will come after you figure everything out. But clarity comes from movement. And the longer you wait to feel different before acting differently, the longer your life stays the same. There is a quiet but powerful shift that happens when you stop asking, "How do I become that person?" and instead ask, "How would that person act today?" Not tomorrow, not when things are perfect. Today. Would they scroll for another hour? Would they avoid the difficult conversation? Would they postpone the small habit again? Or would they do the uncomfortable thing, even imperfectly? This is where transformation actually begins. Not in grand breakthroughs, not in dramatic changes, but in small acts of alignment. Every time you act as your future self, you send a signal to your nervous system, "This is who I am." And every time you avoid action, you reinforce the old identity, even if you hate it. Your brain doesn't care about your intentions, it cares about your actions. That's why affirmations alone don't work. That's why motivation fades. Because the brain updates identity through behavior. If you want to feel like a confident person, do one thing today that a confident person would do. Speak honestly, set a boundary. Show up even when your voice shakes. If you want to feel disciplined, do one disciplined act, especially when you don't feel like it. No one is watching, no applause is coming. But something important is happening internally. You're collapsing the gap between who you are and who you think you need to become. Most people live as if their real life hasn't started yet. They tell themselves, "Once I fix this, once I achieve that, once I heal more." But life is happening now. And the tragedy is not that people fail. The tragedy is that they postpone being themselves. The version of you you're trying to become isn't ahead of you. It's behind your fear, behind the habit of waiting, behind the comfort of the familiar, behind the old story you keep telling yourself. You don't need a new personality. You need a new relationship with action. One where you stop negotiating with resistance. One where you understand that fear is not a stop sign, it's a direction. When you feel resistance, that's often where your real self is trying to emerge. Confidence doesn't erase fear. It moves with it. Courage is not the absence of hesitation, it's action despite hesitation. And the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Eventually, something subtle but powerful shifts. You stop asking for permission. You stop overthinking. You stop waiting to feel different. You just act. And one day you realize you didn't become someone new. You simply stopped betraying who you already were. That's the moment when identity locks in, not because you forced it, but because your actions proved it. The future version of you is not built through intensity. It's built through consistency, through showing up when no one is watching, through choosing alignment over comfort, through small decisions that compound silently. So here's something I want you to do after this video ends. Not tomorrow and not next week, and today. Ask yourself one simple question. If I already was the person I'm trying to become, what would I do next? Then do that. Even if it feels awkward, even if it feels small, even if your mind tells you it doesn't matter, it matters. Because every time you act in alignment, you reclaim a piece of yourself. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are simply remembering. And the moment you stop waiting to become yourself, your life begins to move. If this message resonated with you, not just intellectually but deeply, then this channel is for you. This space is for people who are done waiting, done postponing their potential, done treating their real self like a future reward. Subscribe, and let's continue this journey, not toward becoming someone new, but toward finally being who you already are. Because the version you're trying to become has been waiting for you all along.